It's Friday, June 5th. This is CTV at 6. Here's what's making news tonight. Small town liquor outlets are told they must be bilingual, no matter where they are. Why did it take hours for officials to let the public know about a dangerous crane?
More cloud cover tomorrow, but most of the rain holds off until Sunday.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 6. Here is Todd Battis.
Good evening. We begin with a case of booze and bilingualism. A complaint by a customer who wasn't served in French at a small town agency liquor store has led to a sweeping edict impacting nearly 100 locations around New Brunswick that will now have to find bilingual staff. Here's
14 months ago, Mathieu Casey filed a complaint after he was unable to receive service in French at this AMBL agency store in St. Antoine, New Brunswick.
Going to gas, buy my bottle of wine, and ask for service in French. Said so nobody can speak to me in French, and the answer was we only speak English.
Casey understands not every employee can be bilingual, but it was the encounter that felt different.
It was not even, I'm sorry, I can't speak French, which we are accustomed to, but when the answer is we only speak English, it kind of closes the door.
Following an investigation, the Official Languages Commissioner determined agency stores are acting on behalf of AMBL and must meet the same language obligations.
If an institution, a government institution, hires a third party to conduct the work that the institution is required to do, then the Official Languages Act states that the third party has the same obligations as the institution.
The commissioner says AMBL will now be expected to outline how it plans to comply with the ruling. For Casey, the decision comes as a surprise.
I wasn't expecting the Commissioner of Official Languages to give me a reason. So when I opened the envelope and it said I was right 100%, I was like, oh, wow.
According to this legal expert, the decision overturns a long-standing interpretation of how the Act applies to agency stores.
Is it of historical value? Yeah, probably. Agency stores in Caracat and Shippagan and Edmundston are thinking the same thing as the agency stores in Alma, Sussex, or St. Stephen. It's the same dilemma with regard to delivery in both official languages.
In an email to CTV, AMBL says it has received the report and ruling regarding AMBL agency stores. The Crown Corporation says it takes linguistic obligations seriously and will be carefully reviewing the report. For Casey, this complaint was never about a bottle of wine. It was about ensuring New Brunswickers receive service in either official language. Josh Smith, CTV News, Shediac, New Brunswick.
A blaring alert this morning notified people in the Halifax area that a boy was missing. A search ended on a positive note. A 5-year-old was reported missing around 8 o'clock near the bedroom community of Lance. That emergency alert went out an hour later. Police say the boy was found within a couple of hours at a nearby property by a neighbor in the community. Police in Moncton are investigating a hateful message spray painted on the wall of a downtown mosque. The RCMP responded to a complaint of graffiti on the building Thursday morning. A police spokesperson wouldn't comment on what was written, you can see it there, but did say, it, quote, it appears to be Islamophobic in nature, end quote. The president of the Moncton Muslim Association says he wants his members to feel safe and secure.
And we saw that, and we were saddened and disappointed with this action because it's happening, same incidents twice in less than a year. So this is something that's concerning, and we would like the authority to take this seriously.
So we're serving the community. We feel that we're part of the community. We need the community to understand that being Muslim, that does not mean that we are not part of this community. We're not part of the Canadian population.
The RCMP say they are taking the incident very seriously. The Muslim Association says it will paint over the messages when the police investigation has been completed. The actions of a Nova Scotia man may have prevented a serious crash. He was driving in Lower Sackville when he spotted someone driving erratically. As CTV's Stephanie Seacoast reports, the other driver was eventually arrested for impaired driving.
It's not the call Brian McGregor was expecting to make. Last Friday night, he was driving through Lower Sackville, Nova Scotia, when he spotted someone driving dangerously.
Then it got a little more kind of erratic, where it was like, okay, there's something wrong here, very unusual, and swerving, getting a little close to oncoming traffic, and then suddenly moving back. So I thought, okay, this is time to call 911.
McGregor stayed a safe distance and continued to follow the driver while keeping police updated.
My immediate thought is there are other people on the road. There could be pedestrians. There could be children playing. We need to get them off the road.
This went on for more than 20 minutes, with the driver going on the wrong side of the road, driving on sidewalks and lawns.
I was concerned. I was really worried.
Eventually, the driver was located by police and arrested for impaired driving. No one was injured. According to RCMP, McGregor did the right thing.
I thought the caller did an excellent job. Not only were they providing helpful information, they were calm, they were concerned for the public, they kept a safe distance, they alerted other drivers who were in that area.
Police say if you spot a suspected impaired driver, you should call 911.
Obviously, our officers can't be everywhere at all times, so we are relying on the public that when they see that there's a danger on our roadways, that they report it to us and give us as much information so we can attend.
McGregor is glad he made that call.
I happen to be a defensive driving instructor, and this is my 20th year teaching collision avoidance and avoiding this exact thing and dealing with this exact thing. So it just seems like the shoe fit.
At this point in the investigation, the 24-year-old man who was arrested has not yet been charged, though police say charges are pending. Stephanie Seco, CTV News, Lower Sackville, Nova Scotia.
On our website, we have details of why the case of a Halifax teen accused of online extremism has been shifted to restorative justice. You can read that at ctvnewsatlantic.ca. Renters are back in their apartment building tonight after threats of a dangerous crane forced an evacuation yesterday. The construction equipment was repaired. What's lingering is why it took hours for officials to notify the public. CTV's Hafsa Arif reports.
It's a much quieter scene on Dutch Village Road today. The streets are open, people are back home, and the crane at the center of an emergency yesterday remains standing over the construction site.
We were just notified the personnel on site that were operating the crane. They did notice some mechanical issue.
Crane specialists responded and found parts were missing on the crane. The area was quickly closed off. People living inside the evacuation zone were notified and told to leave their homes. But it would be hours before information on the incident was issued more broadly to the public. The city insists it was because the initial focus was on public safety and securing the scene. For residents, the situation unfolded quickly.
I tried to get in through one direction and saw the police and thought maybe it was just a sort of a minor emergency. Came around, and when I tried to get in another side street, I saw the police again.
Others returned home to find their neighborhood closed off.
A little confused, a little overwhelmed. Just was coming down the street and saw that the road was closed.
Meantime, crews stayed on scene through the night while specialists worked on the crane. There was no collapse or injuries. Early this morning, it was determined it had to be repaired and was safe. The province told CTV News a stop work order for the crane remains in place until it complies with all safety requirements.
We understand this did create, obviously, a significant disruption for residents in the area. But the most important thing, that nobody was hurt. The crane was safely stabilized.
18 people from 10 households needed temporary accommodations through the Red Cross overnight. The province says it will continue its investigation of this incident. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Halifax.
That's Andy Ganesh right now under blue skies, 13 degrees as we bring in CTV meteorologist Kayla Mitchell. And Kayla, I guess that would be one of the cooler spots in the region today, in that area where it didn't get as high?
Well, that's right. So 13 degrees, not too bad, but there are parts of the Maritimes that early this evening are still well into the 20s. And the reason why it was cooler, a little bit cooler around Antigonish, the north shore of mainland Nova Scotia. Cape Breton and Prince Edward Island was the wind direction for today, being out of the northeast. Taking a look at temperatures around that part of the Maritimes, you can find that many communities are actually sitting right now around the low to mid-teens. Some of that cooler wind being felt as well around around the east of New Brunswick. But moving further into the west of New Brunswick, it's 20 at Doketown right now, 22 at Fredericton. We've got low 20s, Edmundston, Woodstock, St. Stephen. Grand Manan a little bit cooler, sitting at 17 degrees. Some of the warmest temperatures in the Maritimes at this hour in the interior of the southwest of Nova Scotia, where some communities are still holding on to the mid-20s. Here's a look at the winds. They're out of the northeast. They're being sustained 10 to 20 kilometers per hour. Maybe not quite as breezy or blustery as they were the last couple of days, but a few gusts out there close to the 30-kilometer-per-hour mark, including one at Bathurst and one at Stanfield International Airport. Over on our cloud outlook for tonight, there's going to be some increasing cloudiness, so not as clear as the last couple of nights have been. But if you do have some gaps in that cloud cover, you want to try and see a couple things in the night sky. Once again, the moon is not going to be rising until after midnight, but you can spot it in the south in the morning hours. The planets Venus and Jupiter, though, will be close together over the western horizon this evening. They're approaching their conjunction on June 8th and 9th. That geomagnetic storm that was forecast yesterday arrived a little bit later, basically arrived in the morning hours of today. It's still ongoing now, but as forecast weekend through the night only gives a low chance of the aurora being faintly visible on the northern horizon here in the Maritimes, Todd.
Faintly visible. Okay, we'll see you later for the full forecast. A scathing report from New Brunswick's Auditor General on NB Power's decision-making process for its $2.8 billion natural gas plant project is raising concern for another future project that could cost almost 3 times more. Here's CTV's Nick Moore.
It is still unclear.
Obviously, we've got a bit of a problem. I don't know if we're going to get to that story or not. Okay.
It is still unclear what direction the Mactaquac Dam's refurbishment will take, but this week's report from the Auditor General, which paints a picture of rash decisions and taxpayer risk connected to the gas plant project in Tantramar, is raising concerns about future work here.
Based off this project with rigs, NB Power is not inspiring a lot of confidence. It does inspire confidence of what's going to happen to Mactaquac.
Utility management admitted earlier this year that it hasn't done well in sharing information about Mactaquac's future.
It is an area that we acknowledge we have not been nearly as open and transparent in our communications.
Energy Minister Renee Legacy has acknowledged as much and says much more will be shared about the Mactaquac refurbishment this fall.
Mactaquac's a big project, so the department is actually looking on how government is going to follow through on a decision making. We've seen other projects like that across Canada that have gone awry, so we want to learn from those lessons. So we're looking at that point right now.
Legacy also responded today to the AG's gas plant report.
The process seemed messy. They want some tightening up there.
NB Power has declined multiple requests for interviews this week on the AG's report. The Energy and Utilities Board approved the gas plant project last week. The Mactaquac Dam's refurbishment is exempt from several EUB approvals.
Inquiring minds want to know what they're planning, what's going on. And of course it was exempted from going to the EUB, which would have given us some information about what's happening.
So you have to be able to ensure projects can move forward without constant barriers to the project. At the same time, you've got to make sure that there is some oversight to the project.
NB Power says a refurbishment at the Mactaquac Dam could take a decade or more to complete. Nick Moore, CTV News, Fredericton.
All right, we seem to get that blip straightened out. Canadians are being told to pack their bags and not to worry about the global jet fuel shortage. Air Canada says it has enough to get by the summer, for the very least. But some experts are saying, ooh, pump the brakes. Here's CTV's Jonathan McGuinness with details.
There's been a vote of confidence given to Canadian travelers by the country's largest airline. Air Canada is telling customers they have a diversified and sophisticated jet fuel supply, and the international shortage of fuel is not affecting their operations so far.
It's very reassuring for us all, but we do need to be realistic and realize that, fuel prices are going to have an impact, whether we like it or not, and it is going to impact the travel industry in some capacity.
CAA spokesperson Julia Kent is advising caution when booking air travel. She recommends Canadians plan ahead and protect themselves against potential disruptions.
Plan for some flexibility, plan for some changes, some impacts of those fuel prices, but also protect yourself with things like travel insurance or the flexibility and having backup plans in case something does go awry.
Just because the supply isn't an issue in Canada, it could be a different situation for international travelers.
Europe is not out of the woods yet in terms of availability of supply. I think that
as much as the airlines say, are saying today that, there is no issue with jet fuel, I would be quite concerned about that statement.
Aviation specialist John Graddick warns that inter-European travel could face delays and cancellations. He encourages vacationers to leave the skies behind and hit the rails.
If you're going to go traveling around Europe, get a train. The rail network in Europe is pretty impressive, pretty robust.
Last month, Air Canada discontinued some routes to the United States because of jet fuel prices. Fuel surcharges have been added to some tickets. Todd, there is at least one European-based airline saying the same thing as Air Canada. Lufthansa says their jet fuel supply is stable and they don't anticipate any more cancellations in their routes. Todd.
All right, that's certainly good news. Thank you, John, at Halifax Stanfield Airport. What a difference a week makes. It's a warm, sunny day in Cape Breton. Last Friday, of course, there was snow. It's been a slow start to the growing season as gardeners try to make up for a cold, wet spring. CTV's Ryan McDonald has more.
Earl's Greenhouses in North Sydney has been in business for more than 100 years. Earl McPherson himself has been around for more than 50 of them, and this year has been a struggle.
Very cold and wet spring. It was, with no sun and that, it kind of put a lot of the plants behind.
While there were plenty of flowers to choose from today and a decent number of customers coming through the doors, McPherson said the early delay in growing caused a setback to the beginning of spring business.
Well, it was slow starting. It's way down from last year, of course, because last year in May, the people were planting their flowers out early May last year, so it was that much warmer.
This year, I had to fight with a bit more watering than usual, and it was so cold that a lot of stuff did not grow yet.
In Stanley Bridge, Prince Edward Island, Michael Bergeron's backyard garden is also a bit behind to start the season. While some berries have started to grow, he is holding off for now on everything else.
I'll try to not plant all my vegetables right away. I'll still be a bit more careful, maybe another week.
Now, around the 15th, we put in our little garden, the vegetables.
These gardeners say they typically feel safest planting their veggies around mid-June, and they'll wait for a longer stretch of sunny weather before taking their flowers out of the shed. Back at his greenhouse, Earl McPherson says while it's anyone's guess what the long-range forecast might bring, he's optimistic that at least next week's weather is looking pretty good.
You can just see with one day of sun, you can see the difference.
And even though there were a few centimeters of snow a week ago today in the CBRM, gardeners figured that at the very least, the worst of the spring weather is now over.
Snow is gone, so my shorts are on.
Ryan McDonald, CTV News, North Sydney.
Snow's gone, so the shorts are on. All right, here's the web poll. Have you put off gardening due to the recent weather? And your options are, yes, I've been waiting to plant. No, I've been planting as usual. Or I put in some things, I've held off on others, or maybe you don't garden at all. Plant your flag at ctvnewsatlantic.ca.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
There could be a future household name in Halifax this weekend. Future stars of the NHL are in the city for the Quebec Maritimes Junior Hockey League draft. Nervous teenagers, their friends, and mom and dad are in town to find out where they'll be playing hockey in the coming years. CTV's Jesse Thomas checked it out.
Not many people are thinking about junior hockey on a hot June day in Halifax, but for hundreds of young hockey players, this is a moment they've been dreaming about for years.
Well, obviously, it's really exciting. Since I was a kid, it was always a goal to play in the QMJHL and, of course, to get drafted in.
Montreal's Mathieu Genereux hopes to hear his name called this weekend. His older brother, Charles, was drafted last year in the 4th round. His advice, enjoy the moment.
Because it goes by really fast, but it's one of the best moments of his hockey career so far. Like, he's going to remember this for the rest of his life.
The brothers both play defense, and while the younger sibling admits he's feeling plenty of nerves, He's grateful to have his family here while he waits to see where the next chapter of his hockey career begins.
Pretty excited, also anxious, so I don't know where I'm going, but I know I'll probably get drafted, so it's a really good feeling. Also, my brother experienced it last year, so I know what I'm about to experience.
This is a milestone moment for the Halifax Mooseheads. The franchise has never played host to the draft before, but it was one of the goals of the Simon family when they bought the team in 2023.
I think it's a great opportunity to showcase our city, showcase our fans, for the players, prospective players, and current players that will be here, for them to be able to really get a sense of what the city offers.
The next goal is to win the Memorial Cup. It starts here. The players selected this weekend could help bring a championship to Halifax.
We've taken the last 2 years to really build the foundation of the team, and then as we head into the next few years, it's very important that we take the next step as a club. So,
round one of the QMJHL draft gets underway tonight. It'll be a chance for 18 young hockey players to hear their names called and their hockey dreams come true. The draft action continues Saturday with rounds 2 through 12 right here at the Scotiabank Centre. Jesse Thomas, CTV News, Halifax.
Time for a break still to come. A bit more cloudiness for the Maritimes tonight. Kaylin returns with the weekend forecast. But next, meet a big new fella who's just moved to town.
There's never been an exhibit of the bones in the 90 years since its discovery.
The big, strong, and silent type has come home thousands of years later. We'll meet him next.
This is the Campfire Conditions Report brought to you by Pine Acres RV, where customers become friends. Conditions are valid until 2 p.m. on June 6th. In the province of New Brunswick, campfires are currently not allowed. For the province of Nova Scotia, campfires are permitted between the hours of 7 p.m. and 8 a.m. And in Prince Edward Island, campfires are currently permitted, with domestic brush burning restricted to the hours of 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. for both Prince and Kings County, and permitted for Queens County between 2 p.m. and 8 a.m. Before having a fire, make sure to check in on any municipal restrictions and bylaws as well.
Welcome back on this Friday evening. The starring attraction of one New Brunswick community is now in place. It's actually a homecoming of sorts, as our Derek Haggett explains.
It's over 8 feet high, 16 feet long, weighs about 1,000 pounds, and costs $20,000. And now it's found a home.
I feel, wow, can you imagine running into this fellow in the forest at Albert County? We think moose are big? How about seeing a mastodon?
The Albert County Museum recently commissioned New Brunswick sculptor Robert Hansen to recreate the hairy beast who once roamed the region 80,000 years ago.
You know, he's done many of these large creations, but I think that's probably one of the largest. I mean, he did a Tyrannosaurus for his grandson, but I think standing beside that mastodon was pretty big.
Getting it from French Lake to Hopewell Cape, quite the adventure.
We contacted so many movers. Finally, because the size with the wheels, it was on trolleys, and so just to move it along because of the weight, it took us a while to find a truck that was going to be big enough.
There's local history behind this exhibit. One of the most complete mastodon skeletons ever found in North America was discovered nearby in 1936. 312 skeleton fossils were discovered. Now, they're tucked away in St. John while the New Brunswick Museum undergoes renovations.
There's never been an exhibit of the bones in the 90 years since its discovery in Albert County. And so it's important to really show our history.
While the exhibit opens tomorrow, the massive beast here behind me will be here permanently. As far as its name, well, that will be determined in a contest later this year. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Hopewell Cape, New Brunswick.
It's got to be a contest. Still to come, you better get outside and enjoy today's sunshine. Kalen tells us why. He'll have the full details of the weekend forecast after this. Peggy's Cove, 18 degrees. This is the time of year when the traffic really picks up, Kayla Mitchell, and why not? It's a beautiful site now. The work they've done on it, spectacular.
Sure
a lot
is.
more people can enjoy it.
Yeah, very nice evening out of Peggy's Cove, sitting at 18, as Todd mentioned right now. A few clouds there in the background, no precipitation from those. A little bit of cloud cover increasing around the Maritimes as we move through tonight and into the start of the weekend. More on that in a moment. Let's take a look at weather conditions across the country. Some wet weather being reported out west. We've got 14 degrees at Vancouver. There's some thunderstorms around the Edmonton area and moving eastward towards the border of Saskatchewan. Actually, a severe thunderstorm watch out for a portion of Alberta. Saskatoon sitting at 23 degrees right now. It's warm at Regina, 25. Winnipeg sitting at 20. Up north, Whitehorse, 20 degrees. Some rain at Yellowknife sitting at 15. And moving off towards the east, Iqaluit, cloud cover and 1 degree. Much warmer temperature still through southern Ontario, southern Quebec. It is warm at this hour at Fredericton as well as Halifax. Cooler, though, at Charlottetown, sitting at 12 degrees, and St. John's. Feeling some of that north and northeast wind with the temperature currently sitting at 3. Taking a look at the timeline for cloud cover and precipitation. Here comes the cloud cover increasing as we make our way throughout the night. It is accompanied by a low chance of some showers in the province of New Brunswick. And very early Saturday morning, there's a possibility that a few of those showers may hold together over the Bay of Fundy and could brush into parts of the southwest of Nova Scotia, including areas of the Annapolis Valley. Otherwise, on Saturday, it's a mix of sun and cloud for Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island. For New Brunswick, some further increasing cloudiness and some showers that'll be returning to northern areas of that province in the afternoon, with the showers becoming more widespread for New Brunswick Saturday evening and Saturday night. And that turns over to rain and showers for the Maritimes on Sunday. Periods of rain for New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island on Sunday. Showers with the risk of small thunderstorms for the province of Nova Scotia. Taking a look at the winds in the forecast for tomorrow, they're going to become southerly as we move from the morning into the afternoon. They'll be sustained in a lot of cases between around 10 and 20 kilometers per hour. Some of the gusts getting up between 20 and 40. Because the south wind is a little bit more onshore around the Bay of Fundy coastline in New Brunswick and the Atlantic coastline of Nova Scotia, it's those parts of the Maritimes that'll start to feel a little bit more of a cooling effect with the wind off of the ocean waters. Taking a look at lows in the forecast for tonight. The coolest temperatures will be in eastern parts of the region. Some lows between around 4 and 8 degrees. Parts of the east of Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, around the eastern coastline of New Brunswick. Further into the west of the Maritimes, most low temperatures tonight between 10 and 14, down to 9 for Lunenburg. Highs in the forecast for tomorrow in the northwestern corner of New Brunswick, mostly between 20 and 24 degrees. And then in the northeast, looking at 18 at around Caraquet, 21 at Bathurst, and 23 for Miramichi. 23 degrees for Fredericton tomorrow, 21 at St. John, and then 22 degrees for Moncton in the southeast. Prince Edward Island on Saturday, a mix of sun and cloud. High temperatures, they bounce back compared to today, getting up between 18 and 20 degrees in that south wind. A little bit cooler on parts of the coast, so closer to 16 for Surrey. In Cape Breton tomorrow, the high temperature is 14 to 18 with a mix of sun and cloud. Near 20 for the north shore of mainland Nova Scotia. On the eastern shore, coastal areas, 14 to 16 degrees. 21 for Amherst and for Truro. City centers Halifax and Dartmouth for tomorrow, close to 15. The Annapolis Valley, though, warmer with highs near 23 degrees. Then on the south shore of Nova Scotia, most communities between 15 and 17, though milder at Yarmouth with the high temperature closer to 20. Rainfall outlook for the weekend shows the best chance of picking up 10 to 20 millimeters of rain will be in the provinces of New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island. Possible locally in Nova Scotia if there are a couple thunderstorms within the showers. In the 7-day forecast for next week for New Brunswick, it's a return to some sunnier and warmer weather, especially moving into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. That's followed by a chance of showers for Thursday and Friday. For Nova Scotia in the forecast, temperatures a little bit cooler on Monday with showers clearing out in the morning. Then it's a mix of sun and cloud for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Temperatures turning warmer through that stretch of days and a chance of showers on Friday. And for Prince Edward Island, the rain on Sunday clears to some showers early Monday morning. Monday still a little bit in the cool side, but temperatures rising through Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. A chance of showers on Friday. Todd.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Kaylin. Next, nostalgia rules at the cinemas this weekend as the summer blockbuster season really gets underway. Our film critic weighs in next.
Okay, so We're back at it Monday. Get that clue 610 for your chance to open up that Virgin Radio vault and win the prize inside.
And get a shot at passes to the Halifax Greek Fest and Discovery Center. Good luck.
We're heading into summer blockbuster season when Hollywood rolls out its big bets. A couple of familiar names are among this weekend's openings. Here to tell us if they hit the mark is our film critic, Richard Krause. Richard, before we start looking at the films, it used to be that the studios put a lot of weight into the summer blockbuster season and Christmas as well. Is that still the case?
It is still the case. People are around. They're looking for air conditioning. They are, more likely to leave the house than they are during the winter months. So the summer season is very important. And so far, because really the summer season starts the first weekend of May. Iron Man, when that came out 10 or 12 years ago, whatever it was, on that weekend, it was a dud weekend previous to that, and then all of a sudden, it has now become one of the prime spots, and we're seeing it every year. That's when the summer season starts out, and what a summer season we've had so far. Movies are back. People are going.
Oh, good. All right, so let's get into it. By the power of Grayskull. Richard, I'm a 15-year-old all over again, just hearing the title, Masters of the Universe. Let's take a look.
Even though I was stuck light years away on Earth, I never stopped trying to get back home.
Everything changed since you left.
It's all gone.
I don't know if it's the feathered hair or what it is, Richard, but comedy, adventure, kind of feels like Guardians of the Galaxy if folks aren't familiar with Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, there's a bit of that. There was a Dungeons and Dragons movie a couple of years ago, Honor Among Thieves, that kind of feels the same way. And what I mean by that is that it takes this source material, 1980s toys and animated series. There was a live action movie with Dolph Lundgren, and takes kind of the spirit of that, but moves it forward to give it a slightly more modern sensibility. The humor is a little bit different. You've got, of course, better special effects to tell the origin story of He-Man. But really, it's a very sincere movie that has kind of messages about toxic masculinity, about teamwork makes the dream work, it all wedged in there in kind of a funny way. But it also gives you the stuff that you expect from a big movie like this. Big action sequences, and you've got a great villain in the form of Skeletor, played by Jared Leto here. And Leto isn't an actor that I often gravitate towards. Yeah. He's fantastic as Skeletor. So it's in theaters this weekend, Masters of the Universe.
Idris Elba there, who's always great. Should I know who the lead actor is?
No, you may have seen him in supporting roles, but he looks a little different because, well, he's He-Man now, so he's been going to the gym. Sure, and it's Nicholas Galitzine.
Okay. The next one we're going to look at is the latest installment, number 6, I believe, if you're keeping score, of Scary Movie.
Guess who's back? Back again. We back. Serial killer on the loose. Hello, Tuesday.
Yeah, this is
number 6. Yeah, Ghostface, a list of top talent here.
Yeah, you've got, the core, what they're calling the core 4 are back, and that's Marlon and Sean Wayans, Anna Faris, Regina Hall, and then they have kids and others around them that are all being terrorized by this ghost face killer. But they also, because it's a spoof of what's happening in horror movies, they wedge in tributes to or spoofs of The Substance and Long Legs and all sorts of other films that have done well in the last few years since they made one of these scary movies. And what this is, essentially, is just a firehouse shooting out crude jokes and bad puns and spoofs of movies. And it felt to me like I was scrolling through TikTok. If you don't like something, you just keep going because it is so fast and so rapid. Only about half, probably less than that, of the jokes actually land and get a laugh out of an audience. But it is edgy, or edgier probably than you might expect it to be. It's got a real kind of crust to it. Some of the humor is very crude, very politically incorrect. But I think if you're a fan, of the original. You might like this one.
Okay.
I didn't care for it that much, but it's Scary Movie 6 in theaters now.
Okay, Art the Clown in there. He's kind of spooky. Our final offering, not a remake or a sequel. It's called Power Ballad. Nick Jonas in a leading role with Paul Rudd. Here we go.
You don't recognize it?
Uh-oh, Paul Rudd's been snookered by a pop star.
He has. So he is a guy that had dreams of playing Madison Square Garden with his band. But while his band were on tour decades ago, in Ireland, he met a woman, fell in love, settled there, raised a family, and gave up his idea of being a touring musician. Instead, he plays with a wedding band. One night, a pop star, played by Nick Jonas, shows up. They hit it off. They trade songs back and forth over a few beers. And that's it. That's the end of that story, except 6 months later, Paul Rudd's in a mall somewhere, and he hears one of the songs that he played for this pop star that night. And the guy has stolen the song. And so now he has to figure out how to get it back. The thing about this movie is when I first heard about it, I thought it was going to be a big, broad comedy like Anchorman or something like that. It's not. It is a dramedy, half drama, half comedy, with a terrific performance from Paul Rudd in the center of it as this guy who had aspirations, but then when he gets another little taste of it, falls back in, lets his life kind of fall apart a little bit until he realizes that he made all the right decisions all along the way. It's not a spoiler. There's lots more that happens than that. But it's a really uplifting film made by John Carney, who made Once and Sing Street and Flora and Son. Terrific Irish director. It's called Power Ballad, and it's in theaters now.
And you can't go wrong with Paul Rudd. Richard, thank you very much. Happy viewing. We'll see you soon with more blockbusters, no doubt.
Yep. Thanks so much, Tom.
Okay, we'll be back with more after this. We're on the scene. Lebanese culture taking center stage in Halifax this weekend at the Cedar Festival. CTV's Brianne Foley is there with a preview of what's going on at the festivities. So, what's happening?
Well, Todd, we're about to have opening ceremonies here at Cedar Fest at 111 Clayton Park Drive in its 19th year. So opening those ceremonies are going to be Lieutenant Governor General, of course, Mike Savage, and Ambassador of Lebanon to Canada. So that is going to be exciting. People are actually heading in there now, but we've also seen a lot of people coming since we started here in the 5 o'clock hour. We're seeing lineups, of course, for the tickets and for the food, because that is one of the biggest portions of this Cedar Fest. So we have a huge line growing, as you can see, as we continue. New this year is going to also be a market. So they're selling different vegetables and nuts and jewelry. They also, of course, always have their kids' entertainment section. And yes, don't you worry, Beirut Cafe is in full swing. Started to fill up as soon as that sun came out and that work day ended. So Nine Locks Brewing Co. is here. Shout out to my friend Johnny. Tavern on Tour is also inside there. We also have the sweet setup, yes, and I mean that literally, because there are the desserts as well as the fruit cups there. So everything that you really want out of this festival is happening right now. Friends shaking hands. Everybody's coming together, and of course it wouldn't be Cedar Fest without a taste of Lebanon. So we've started to see this line grow and grow, and honestly the smells coming from here, the food is amazing. We heard from the ladies who helped organize the event earlier today on 5 o'clock about each of their favorite things, but you have shawarma plates, you have vegetable plates, you have all of the delicious food that you could want. Now this festival is going tonight until 11, begins again tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Of course, it goes till midnight tomorrow, so lots of events going on, and there is also some dance competitions, lots of entertainment for friends and family to come down to, and on Sunday, it continues again 10 a.m. until 6 p.m., so definitely something you want to check out. As for me, Todd, since now I'm officially done, I'm going to go get some food.
I was going to say, you're off the clock, so get in line. Brianne Foley at Cedar Fest, thank you very much. We will take a break as we go. Here's a look at what's...
Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Move 100's $10,000 Move It or Lose It is back.
Register for your shopping spree starting Monday at 6 a.m.
There's no business report tonight, but we can look at how the markets closed the trading week. Beginning in Toronto, where the TSX ended down 803 points to close at 34,413. The Dow Jones was down 695 points to close at 50,866. And the Canadian dollar traded hands down ever so slightly, basically even, at 71.8 cents against the U.S. greenback. All right, let's get one final look at the weather. Kayla Mitchell is outside on the deck where it looks rather pleasant.
Yeah, it's not a bad evening out here. It's mild. It's a little bit breezy. There's a few more clouds in the sky than there was yesterday evening. It's kind of the story tonight for the Maritimes, some increasing cloudiness around the region. With some relatively clear skies over the past couple of nights, there have been some great views of a pair of planets sitting above the western horizon, and where it permits, they'll be visible again for tonight. So this picture was sent in by Annette Albert from Grand Berchois, New Brunswick. And those two bright points you can see there, that's Jupiter and Venus, very close together, coming up in their conjunction over the next couple of days. I want to thank Annette very much for taking the time to send that picture in. Grand Berchois for tomorrow can expect a mix of sun and cloud in the afternoon and a high temperature near 18 degrees. Let's take a look at our day planner for Saturday around the Maritime region. Cloudiest conditions will be in the province of New Brunswick. There will be a low chance of some showers in the morning, especially for the northern half of New Brunswick. Morning temperatures around the Maritimes mostly ranging high single digits to low teens. Now moving from the morning into Saturday afternoon, it'll be a mix of sun and cloud for Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island, but some continued increasing cloudiness for the province of New Brunswick, and some showers will begin to return to communities in the north of that province. A lot of high temperatures tomorrow in the Maritimes, high teens and low 20s. Let's find out what's ahead on your Morning Atlantic.
Monday on your Morning Atlantic, strengthening your core.
Latavia visits Halifax's Coastal Core Studio to check out their Legree Megaformer workouts.
Start your morning with us Monday on your Morning Atlantic on CTV2 and Crave.
Finally, this week, she's planning a wedding and taking time off from touring, but Taylor Swift is still making money. According to Forbes, the singer-songwriter is now worth $2 billion. Much of that wealth comes from her Epic Eras tour and her recent albums. Swift also re-recorded much of her older music. Those royalties are now going directly to her. Those are worth a lot. That is our look at the day and the week here at home. You can find our weekend reporting on the web and the app. Now the names of everyone who brings you your newscast as we pay a visit to Eastern Passage, Nova Scotia. Next week, the World Cup, the FIFA World Cup of Soccer, begins in North America, including Toronto and Vancouver. We have some special programming set up for that. We'll tease you a bit on that, but we'll tell you more about it next week, so we certainly hope you'll join us then. Now we're off to Eastern Passage. I'm Todd Battis. Hope to see you Monday. Good night.
CTV News, the Maritime's #1 newscast. Watch live on Crave.